Yeah, I decided to move these adjusters just a hair over, a couple notches. Actually, I made the side bearings one notch tighter because it's got 220,000 miles on it. It's got to have a little more play in it, a little bit. And I wanted to get this dial indicator right on because it depends. You really got to tighten this damn thing up a lot and hold it down to get accurate measurements. So it should be, just moved it a hair, just a little bit more in. Now as far as, like, you know, the toe in and, you know, not just the backlash, having it too far down or on the heel or on the toe of the gear, that would be your opinion. I didn't touch that, so there's no problem with that. I was just checking was the backlash, which means how loose it is in the, you know, against the pinion. So I want to adjust that just a hair more. It's got to have a little wear in it from freaking 220,000 miles, so it's moved it just a little bit. I made sure this was on here really rock solid to do it, and it's going to have red line oil in it, so should be fine. I know actually when they set these up, the pros set them up, they set them up a little tight. That's usually how they set them up, unless, you know, if for longevity, just like engines, they'll set them up tighter, longer break-in period for longevity. If it's a race engine, they'll set them up looser. That's how it is. So I'm not going to be beating the shit out of this right away. It's going to have red line in it, so hopefully everything's going to be cool. And torque these down again to 7 to 10 foot-pounds, a little more Loctite again. Well, I decided to get this damn thing protected with some kind of paint. I says, you know, so I don't know when I'll get around to it. What I did was took some rust reformer, went underneath it, got the brake lines, you know, got any places so any surface rust, hit a truck blade liner. Then I took some starting fluid, paper towels, just wiped it down real quick. It's not even dry yet, probably all the way. I just put it on here with this truck bed lining. I didn't even sand this where I did the body work with my finger, just put it right over it. Thing is, I want it protected, and actually if the paint don't have any wax on it, it's kind of old paint. It's you know, I freaking covered up the Suzuki. It's old paint. It's not, I just blasted it, man, real quick, and didn't sand it, but I says, you know, it's going to stick actually, but it's not going to take much to DA it off if I want to do a panel at a time. This is in the meantime, the damn thing's protected because this paint is getting so freaking old that it can get surface rust under here. And so the truck bed liner is actually primer and paint all in one. You can just throw it over anything. Actually, the more, if you make it too Peter perfect, actually if you got something that hasn't been washed, we used to do this. Let me say this shit. We used to do this crap. This isn't even quite dry yet. You can see it, but we used to do this crap with fleet trucks sometimes. Just scuff them down, pre-clean them, paint them, no primer or nothing. And usually a lot of time was Del Star. They used to call it Ditzler Del Star. I guess they call it PPG now. They still sell that crap. I'm going to use that on the El Camino, PPG Del Star, the old, but with the catalyst. But we used to do the some of the fleet trucks sometimes with a friend of mine, and that paint stuck right over brush paint and everything, man. I mean, so this truck bed lining, I think it's actually going to stick on here because I'm really thinking about. Say you know what I'm talking. You know what I'm thinking about is, say for instance, I get sidetracked and I don't have time to go freaking do something, and all of a sudden I got all this rust. Well, it's got something on it to stop that shit. So, but all I did was use any place there was a little bit of surface rust reformer underneath it too. Cleaned it with starting fluid, and then I used the truck bed liner. So basically now the whole damn thing's protected. Hey, it works, man. It only took like, you know, doing something this small, I think the whole thing, everything was like 4 cans of this shit. That's it. Okay, I want to get some measurements on these axles because they're 1 year only, I think. Or I'm not sure if they're SJ10 410 axles, but they're shorter than Samurai because I got the Samurai SJ 410 with the Samurai Pumpkin. They're 26 splines. So whatever the hell that is. It's 1.1 inches and 17 thousandths. So 1 inch, 117 thousandths. That's what that is. Then, the big thing is the axle length. I don't know what the hell. I don't know how you measure this shit, to tell you the truth. .25.5. I'm not sure if that's considered going into here too. 25.5. I know it takes a standard Samurai bearing, so that would be the same. Can't read what the hell that says, man. 1 inch, 350 thousandths, or 348 thousandths. Let's take another measurement. Let's take a measurement from here without the bearing. It's 22.5. 25.5. Well, you know what they are. Whatever they are, they're the same. They're the same as the SJ410. What it might be different is the thickness. This thickness. That's what might be different, and the spline. So that was, let's say 1 inch, 110 thousandths. Yeah. 111,000, 110, 1 inch, 110 thousandths. And down here, that's the same size as the Samurai, I know that. So that's 1 inch, 350 thousandths, say. So just wanted to see, they're 26 splines. So actually, it's the same. Well, I should be able to find it out because we know the specifications for the SJ410. It's the same length. I just need to, well, I could have Moser make these up if I need them. So just want to double check this shit before I put them in. Yeah, the pumpkin's all bolted up there. It's 13 to 20 foot-pounds. I use my inch-pound torque wrench because it's kind of hard to work in there. I torqued it. I used Loctite blue. I put the bottom drain plug in. I didn't fill it up with oil yet. I cleaned this off. I used a rust reformer on it. You know, not necessary, but like it says, and actually when this crap dried, you can see it doesn't look too bad actually. So it's not on there heavy, so I could DA this off anytime I want to. It wouldn't take long, but it's got some protection on it. I know what'll happen. I'll forget about doing it for a year and it'll be rust, right? So let's do this. Better than it would have cost me 20 bucks. Better than nothing, man. It doesn't look bad too, to tell you the truth. And that's the other side. Actually, this is the driver. I don't know how it works on a freaking right-hand drive, but this would be my, what is it, 16.5 inch axles? Maybe including that. 17 inch, 17.5 down there. That should be the stock 410 axle length. I think they're a bit thicker though, and you said they're 26 spline. So grease this up and stick it in the other side. Okay, so you can hear the ratcheting noise as it turns. See? So it releases when there's no load on the drive shaft, but when the drive shaft spins, it pushes those there's like an oblong hole where those plates are. I showed it on the other video a while back. It causes those plates to move against the side gears. So there it is. So it does free spin. That's what you'll hear. You'll hear clicking. The only thing left I got to do is bleed the brakes, put the tires on. That's it. Use Loctite blue on everything, including the carrier case bolts and the U-joints and everything. So should be all right. I got to make sure I put oil in it, but I'm gonna recheck it when it's level. I don't know if there's enough in there, but I put it was royal purple. Actually, you can see the purple stuff. It wasn't red line. Keep mixing those two up, man. I don't know why. So that's the install. So I'm not going to put it on the front. Oh, I'm going to tell you this: if you put one of these jobbers on the front, yeah, it's great off-road. But if you're in snow, a locker in the front is like a ditch finder. You got super great traction until you lose traction. Then you got no steering. Because like if one wheel slips, the other one works as an anchor, like with an open rear, open differential, right in the front. They used to call the Nissan Pathfinders ditch finders for that reason, because it was great. They had a what do you call it, a posi in the front, but as soon as you lost traction going around the turn, man, both wheels would spin. It'd be like you're on freaking forget about it. So what you do is, if you put a locker, one of these type of lockers, like if you don't use an air locker, you use one of each type of lockers in the front. What you do is you lock one hub when you're in the snow, one hub only. And if you need to lock the other one, get out and lock the other one. But if you're driving down the road, you don't want to leave those front ones locked like that, because when you're going around a turn, if your both wheels lose traction, you fly into, you go straight, man. You don't turn. In other words, if you're at an open-end rear, I keep saying open-end rear, an open-end differential, what happens is the one wheel will spin. Say the one wheel in the front is losing traction going around the turn, but the other one's acting like an anchor. It's not spinning. If they both spin, in other words, there's kinetic friction and static friction, right? Like once you lose traction, once it breaks free, it's like you got way less friction. That's how it works, man. Mu sub K and the mu sub S. Remember that from physics? The Greek letter mu, mu. So lock one. If you put one of these lockers in the front and you're in snow, you're better off locking just one hub until you need to lock the other one to get out of a situation. Just want to put that advice, but that's how it works. It should work. Find out when I'm driving it, but it should. It should. Yeah, I just took it around the block and I did some bunch of hard turns with it and stuff. It actually doesn't click that bad. You hear it click, 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 but it's not like really bad or shake the vehicle. That royal purple stuff I heard really does a job to keep it kind of smooth, or red line, or some real high performance gear oil, because I remember back in the Mopars with the 8 3/4 short grips, they make noise. If you put the right stuff in them, they're nice and nice and smooth and quiet. The only thing I had to do is bleed the brakes a little more. I did bleed the crap out of them. I'm going to put the automatic bleeder thing on there with the magnet that sticks on the side. I'll do that and do it that way, because there's a little bit of air in them yet, but that's it. It works great, man. It's nice. It's smooth. Make sure you put a really good type of oil in it. The best shit there is. That probably makes the difference. I know it does, because old school shit, it used to do that used to be the difference with the old posis and stuff too. If you didn't use really good oil, they'd make noise.